welcome to our weekly Friday night sports chats with me and Dean. We are going to be doing it weekly, so make sure that you're watching every Friday night, 9:30 till 10:30 normally. It's 10 o'clock till 11 tonight because we had a few issues before. But make sure 9:30 to 10:30 every Friday night. We are going to be talking about the weekly updates on the sport. So I'm going to pass it over to Dean now, who's going to run us through the schedule of tonight. Dino, take it away.
Right, guys, welcome to the first ever sports chat with me, Dean, and your host, Alex. Now, between me and Alex, our football knowledge is okay. I won't say it's amazing, but we keep up to it. We keep up to the scores. We keep up to what's going off. But here, on this sports chat, we don't just talk about football, do we, Alex? It's
No,
not
we
just
don't.
football.
No,
we talk about...
We talk about football, ice hockey, tennis, Formula One, golf. You fucking name it.
Anything you guys want to talk about.
Anything you want to talk about, drop it in the chat, and we will discuss it to our best knowledge.
Yeah, because I mean, ice hockey wise, both Steelers fans through and through. You know, we've even got the sledge hockey going. We'll promote that to you guys. It's a great sport. We will promote the sport, and we will get you guys the results because, you know, why not? It's a sports chat. Sledge hockey is a sport. We're going to talk about tennis because that started back up now, I believe. Same with the golf. We're also going to talk about the F1 because that's starting again in a couple of weeks, and we've got loads going off with that at the moment. But today, because it's the first sport that started back, we are going to talk about football, big old football. And Alex, the little chappy on the other side of this microphone, is a Villa supporter, and the first match that came back was Villa versus Sheffield United. So, take us away, Alex.
Okay, so as Dino just said, Villa fan through and through. We did play Sheffield United on Wednesday as the first game of the Premier League started again after the COVID outbreak. It was obviously at the moment football and most sports are being played behind closed doors. So it was a very, very surreal experience to watch it on the TV and not see any fans. But we drew. It was a fair game.
Did you draw?
Wow. We drew. The final result was 0-0. But
and that's the official result, right? That's not changing.
That's the official result.
Can I just say something though? Right, with the whole 0-0, and yeah, we'll get to what happened in the match, which I'm sure you guys know about. But if that was say Man City against Liverpool, and Man City took that shot, went over the line, blah blah blah, do you think it would have been handled the same way that it's been handled with Villa and United?
Oh no. No. I reckon they would have given the goal.
Oh God, yeah, they would have overturned the result or something.
They would have overturned the result. They would have, because they're scared of the bigger clubs.
Exactly.
The FA are scared of the bigger clubs because they know what they can do. Whereas Villa is a big club, but it's not as big as Liverpool or City.
They don't have as much money. Nowhere near as much money.
Oh no, nowhere near.
I live in Sheffield. I know a few Sheffield United fans, and trust me, every single one of them was kicking themselves when that went allowed. I completely understand why. I'm not a United fan. I'm a Huddersfield Town fan. You might find that confusing, but it's the team I support. It's the team I like watching. It's the team I'll go and see. But coming from a football perspective, I just feel like I can understand why every United fan would have been kicking themselves, because if that was any other team, something would have happened.
Well,
and to them, you look at where United are, aren't they? They're what, the 6th in the league or 5th in the league?
Yeah, 6th in the league.
if they'd have got those 3 points, they would have been up. They would have moved up above Man United, wouldn't they?
Yeah, they would have gone into Europe spot.
Exactly, which is a big difference. I think those 2 points difference makes a big difference for a club like Sheffield United.
It was a massive game for both clubs.
Yeah.
Obviously, Villa fighting a relegation battle at the moment. So we needed them 3 points to get us out of the relegation zone to go into the next running of games. Villa, and I'll get onto the next running of games in a minute for Villa. But like you said, it was a massive game for Sheffield United as well. They needed 3 points to move up into fifth spot for Europe. I mean, Europe is massive for a club like Sheffield United because they haven't
there's
been.
500 million up for grabs in it, something like that.
Oh,
getting to...
yeah, you get a lot of money for going into the European stage, but it was a must-win game for Villa, especially because we've got a massive run-in of games at the moment. Next, I mean, we've got Chelsea on Sunday, and then we've got I think it's Chelsea, Wolves, then Liverpool, Newcastle, Man United, and Palace.
Yeah, but the thing is, you say you've got Liverpool in 3 matches time, but don't Liverpool only need 6 points and they've won the league?
They need to win. They need 6 points and then they've won the league. Yes.
So to be fair, they might have already won the league by the time they get to you.
Well, that's very true, but I still think it's that they're tough games. You never get an easy game in the Prem.
No. Oh God, no. I can agree with you on that.
You never get an easy game in the Prem. You never know what to expect from teams. Like you can say that they can, they could have won the league and then they could put like their under 23 squad out.
Yeah, exactly.
And they could still win. You never know. You never know what to expect with the Prem. Whereas with the Championship, when Villa were in the Championship, you kind of knew what to expect with games, and like obviously I've been to a couple of town games, with you, Dino, but you just got to sit. You just got to sit there and just hope for the fucking best.
Yeah. I mean, you've got to think as well. You look at this brings us on to his next match, City Arsenal. You look at the way Arsenal played against City, and I think you would have stood a better chance against City than Arsenal. In my personal opinion, Arsenal's a very big team, and they should have played a lot better than what they did. And I think they were lucky to only lose 3-0.
Oh, yeah. They played absolutely died. That is the worst I've ever seen Arsenal play.
Yeah, I mean, I know they've not been playing football for 3 months. Everyone's coming back, but everyone's on the same stage of what's happening. I just feel like, I mean, obviously, Luis, he got a red card 49th minute for a challenge which, I don't know, I've seen the highlights from it. I've tried to watch it in slow-mo. But I don't really know whether it was a red card challenge. I don't know what you think to that.
It was. Was it the penalty that he conceded that he got the red card for?
Yeah.
I mean, I think Mahrez went back down a little bit too easy.
Yeah.
I think the arm was over, but I think the ref saw it as he was the last man back. But I don't think it was a red card at all. I think it was at least a yellow.
Yeah, I think it was a foul.
It was a foul, and it was a penalty. But one Mahrez went down too easy, and he was looking for the penalty. You could tell that he was looking for the penalty.
Oh, yeah.
But you gotta think why. This is another thing that we could talk about is VAR.
Well,
Why?
yeah.
Well, why is VAR getting involved in that and saying, "Look, you need to rejudge your decision. That was not a red card. Giving me yellow."
Yeah.
What I thought they were meant to be discussing every single goal and every single foul and whatever.
Yeah. Not just as and when it pleases.
Not as just as when it's key points.
Yeah. But then again, I mean, we haven't spoke about this on the podcast. So obviously, this is the first week ever, by the way. But VAR in itself is a whole other topic that we could easily talk about for hours and hours and bore people to death with some of the questionable decisions that have hit clubs because of VAR. I mean, quite lucky Huddersfield playing in the Championship. We don't really have it. So it's not as bad, but yeah, it's a sore subject, VAR. It really is.
Trust me, it is. Trust me. I don't think Arsenal even had a shot on target.
Well, I can double check that for you.
I don't think they even had. I was absolutely amazed. I thought Arsenal would come out and try and punch City. I know City are a big club and they've got some good players in Sterling and Aguero.
But then so should Arsenal. Arsenal has a lot of money. They are not they're not a bargain basement team like United or Southampton or something like that. They have a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah, shots on target 0. Man City had 12.
Yeah, I mean that just shows the class that was different.
Yeah, I mean you look at the possession as well. Man City had 67% possession that game. 67. You don't see that in the Premier League. Well, not very often, anyways. It's just like I said. I think Arsenal were lucky to only lose to 3-0 that match. I really do. And Arsenal's next match is against Brighton, which is tomorrow at 3:00. I think if they don't win that, there's got to be questions asked of what have Arsenal been doing.
I know. Yeah, sheer questions. I mean, Arsenal were a really good team back in the 90s. I mean, they had Bergkamp.
When they had Wenger.
When they had Wenger, they had Bergkamp, they had Henry, they had Keown, and I can't remember his name. Patrick Vieira. They had good quality players that could play anywhere on the pitch. Whereas now, Wenger's gone, and I know Wenger wasn't as good in his last couple of years as manager, but they haven't done anything at all with their money. They haven't brought in the big players that they need. I think that the last big player they brought in was Lacazette and Aubameyang.
Yeah.
I mean, Aubameyang was scoring for fun in Germany when he played for Dortmund. I mean, in one season he scored 30-odd goals. And I think last season he only scored 14 for Arsenal.
It's a big difference, isn't it?
It's a big difference, and it just shows why the Premier League is such a
it's a league in itself.
Different
really
league.
Is.
It is.
But then again, you say that, but I think every league in the English football, going all the way down to the Vanarama leagues, it's not an easy move up or down from any league. I mean,
No.
When Huddersfield moved down from the Premiership, a lot of people were saying, we'd bounce back up. We have a strong team, we'll be all right. And look what's happened to us. We're now fighting relegation. I mean, we'll be okay. I'll be very surprised if we're not. But no one expected us to be where we are in the league, on the league table this year.
No.
I mean, we've gone through two managers. We've now obviously got the Cowley brothers in, which are doing an amazing job. And I think come next season, I think we might have a chance of fighting promotion. Be great. Um, but who knows? But yeah. Anyways, so Arsenal, City, well done. Arsenal, you need to pick your game up. If you lose against Brighton, people are going to get worried. So today, next day, Norwich City and Southampton with outstanding 3-0 result to Southampton. I'm not a massive supporter of either teams. They're both fairly good at their own right. Mid-level Premier League teams, I'd say. I don't know if you agree on that.
Yeah, about level, about the same size. Norwich being a little bit smaller. But Southampton are a very Marmite team. You either love them or hate them.
Yeah.
And they're very
They have a championship
miss.
style of play to them. That's what I've
Yeah.
noticed. They have that rough play to them that you would get in the championship, which very rarely works in the Premiership, as we've seen from certain teams. But they seem to make it work.
I think they've got a fantastic manager in Hasan Hussel. They've got quality players that.
Yeah.
I mean, Ings. We were talking earlier. Ings. He had an absolutely phenomenal match against Norwich. I think he.
Yeah, I mean, I know he only scored one goal.
He scored one goal, but
Redmond scored the other two. But he is a good player, and I think Southampton have got a good player in him.
I think it was the best move that they've made buying him back from Liverpool, because Liverpool killed him. Never played.
I don't think it was his style of play, though. Again, like I've said, like the Southampton, they have that rough play to him, and I think that suits Ings.
Yeah.
He likes to have that scrap to get upfield. And I think that's the difference. Whereas Liverpool, they have a very finesse style of playing. They have a German style of playing, let's put it that way.
Well, look at Klopp, isn't
it? Yeah, that's just Klopp all over for you. But it works for them. And, I can't knock Liverpool what they've done this season. I think they've had an amazing season considering what's happened. I know they haven't played yet, have they? Oh.
No.
No, it's tomorrow they're playing.
Tomorrow.
No, Sunday against Everton, 7 p.m. So they've got a derby match for the first match as well, which is even better. And I'm sure there'll be a result to come from that. I think that's the best way to put it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so again, Norwich, Southampton. Again, I don't think Norwich are a particularly bad team. I only saw the highlights today, but the defence didn't look great. Again, first match back, it's bound to happen. But I think they'll bounce back from it.
Well, I think Norwich are a team that are very much in trouble.
Yeah.
Bottom of the table. I think they're 6 points behind.
Yeah, in all honesty, I think they're going to go down this season.
I think Norwich are going to go down, and it's going to be a scrap between Villa, Bournemouth, Watford, and Brighton.
Do you know? I think you might be able to chuck West Ham into that mix, and part of me thinks that West Ham might have a chance of going down, and I think it'll kill them if they do. It
will kill them, and it will be a shame that if they do go down, like, it's not nice seeing any team go down, but. And me and you have been through the heartbreak of getting relegated.
Oh yeah.
And it's not nice. But at the end of the day, if your team haven't performed well, I think getting relegated is the best thing for them.
Yeah, I mean, I think the problem with West Ham is they do have that Premier League style of play. They've been in the Premier League since, well, for years now.
Yeah.
I can't remember the last time they went in the Premier League. So I don't think they'd survive the Championship in all honesty, because they have a lot of very high class play. Well, whether you call them high class, they have a lot of players that like that Premier League style of play. And would they stick around if they got relegated? I don't think so at all.
Yeah, well, I mean, they obviously brought Jared Bowen in the January transfer window, which was a big move. You know, and I mean, Villa were linked with him for months. And West Ham obviously got in there last minute.
Yeah.
I mean, and he hasn't even played a minute yet. He hasn't even played a game because he signed and then I think he got injured, and then obviously the lockdown happened and everything was cancelled or postponed. So it'll be interesting to see how he impacts, because he impacted obviously his previous team in Hull a lot, scoring I think it was like 20 goals in I can't remember 20 odd goals in 18 matches or something like
Right.
that. I mean, he scored a lot of goals this season for Hull, and but at the end of the day, he's a West Ham supporter, so
Yeah.
so
But yeah, so yeah, we're getting a little bit off subject.
Yeah.
But that's what this is about. This is, we'll start on one thing. I know what you and me are like. We'll just end up talking about something completely different within 10 minutes. So the latest, which obviously has just finished today, is Tottenham and Man United.
They finished 1-0.
No, it didn't finish 1-0.
Oh,
Yeah.
what did it finish?
It finished 1-1.
Ooh! Adam, if
Yeah.
you're watching, you bet you're a happy bunny. Who scored?
Fernandez. 81st minute penalty as well.
Oh, I mean,
So
that's a nice return from Mourinho to United.
well, yeah. I mean,
it's another team, isn't it? It's another Spurs is another team that should be doing better.
yeah.
I think they were really wrong in sacking Pochettino. I think he was a brilliant manager, and he didn't deserve the way he was forced out.
Well, you just have to look at the match today, don't you? 37% possession. Tottenham had.
I know. It's
37% in 90 minutes.
It's just like we were saying before. You just can't expect anything.
No.
It's a crazy league. It is a really crazy league.
Yeah, it is. And the thing is, it's quite close at the top and the bottom. I mean, Man United drew 1-1 with Tottenham. So in the standings-wise, nobody's moved anywhere.
No.
You got Chelsea in fourth with 48 points. You know the top three. You don't need me to tell you them.
Yeah.
Got Chelsea with 48 points in fourth. Man United in fifth with 46 points. Sheffield United in sixth with 44 points. Wolves in seventh with 43 points. And Tottenham 42 points in eighth. I mean, again, if you go back to that disallowed goal from Sheffield United, those 2 points, they would have been fifth in the league now.
Exactly. I think Sheffield United will get there, and I think they will. They've got the quality of football, obviously, and it's at the moment obviously trying to get eased back into it after lockdown, and it's weird for them not to have fans cheering them on. And
it's so weird watching the matches and just hearing EA Sports in the background.
I know, and them shouting and whatever, and it's like it will take time for teams to ease into it. but they'll get used to it, and I reckon we're going to have a hell of a ride to the end of the season, I think.
Yeah.
But anyways, the next matter, obviously, with everything that's going on in the world at the moment with the Black Lives Matter. From a personal point of view, I think it's right. People should be people. Black lives do matter. All lives matter, and people have the right to protest their views. I think it's absolutely disgusting what's happened, and I hate all type of racism, prejudice, everything. And I think the Premier League have done a brilliant thing in getting all the players to have a minute's silence before the games, kneel down on one knee, and peacefully protest in a way.
Yeah. And to be fair, I think that's how the protest should be happening. Is peaceful.
That's how a protest should be happening. It's sad to see all the violent protests, but I mean I think that's if that's their way of going about it, then that's their way of going about it.
Yeah.
In my eyes,
Yeah, I mean, also I've noticed obviously the Black Lives Matter football shirts as well.
Yeah. Wearing all the Premier League players are wearing Black Lives Matter.
I don't know what's going to happen with Championship tomorrow. I'm guessing it'll be the same as the Premier League.
I'm guessing it will be the same. But I think I think it's really good.
Yeah. I mean, did you say the golf started? I think you did, didn't you?
Yeah, golf started.
Yeah, what's happening with golf? I don't know anything about golf, so good luck there. But
I don't know that much about golf. I know that I think they're just playing little friendlies at the moment. There's no major tournaments that are going to go ahead. I mean, they cancelled all the Ryder Cup and all the other major tournaments. I think what they're going to do, what the plan is they're going to play all these little warm-up games, obviously because you can social distance in it.
Yeah.
They're going to play all these little warm-up games to start off with, and then next year start all the tournaments back up and get back to some sort of normality.
Fair play.
That's what I've read, anyway.
Go on.
The tennis has obviously started back up again. Obviously, they're going to be doing the same. There's no tournaments that are going on. They're just playing warm-up friendlies. I read that Djokovic played in his hometown, and he said it was very emotional to be playing on the field again. And these players, the players in football and golf and tennis and whatever, all the sports, they'll be very emotional to get back playing again because it's what they've lived for and it's what they've worked for, and for it to stop,
it's their career.
It's their career at the end of the day, and for it to stop like it did, just suddenly, I bet it was really hard for all of them to adjust to that.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, they're multi-millionaires and they've got their tennis courts and football pitches and whatnot at the house and whatever, but I bet it was really hard for them to...
Well, not all of them are multi-millionaires. I mean, even taking you on to ice hockey, but you look at the players from ice hockey, they're on a normal salary, just as much as you or me or anybody else. They're not on £1 million contracts.
No.
But talking about hockey, obviously that's been cancelled at the moment. The season's finished as far as we know it. The only silverware that did get won was obviously the Challenge Cup, which you and me were there for down in Wales.
Yes, boys.
But the next cup, which apparently seems to be going ahead, is the Continental Cup, which is in Asaiga, from what I've been reading. But they're changing the format, so normally it'd be 8 teams. The top 2 from each of those groups will then make the final 4, and obviously they do a knockout stage to find the final. Whereas this time, to make it a bit short, I'm guessing because of time, blah, blah, blah. I mean, it doesn't happen until November. 13th to the 15th of November, this takes place. But the Steelers are going to be playing in that alongside Asaigo Hockey, who are the hosts, and a group of other teams which haven't been decided yet. So it's good to see that we are going to see some hockey this year, even if it is in November. There is going to be some hockey. But, you know, other than that, there's been some moves going off. There's been a lot of moving about. Because obviously all the international players have gone back home.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as the season pretty much turned around and said, well, the English Hockey League turned around and says, right, yeah, we're done. All the international players went home, which is understandable. So, we'll see. I mean, I'm hoping the normal Hockey League will start back as normal. I've got a feeling it'll be behind closed doors or limited people there. I've got a feeling it won't be normal, but I'm hoping there'll be some sort of normality there. Because again, like we were saying, you know, people earning wages, hockey players don't make that much money.
No.
And their pay is obviously being cut short. They've had to go home. They're not really had much choice in it.
Mm.
But I think you do look at some of these sports that aren't as big as football, and you think, well, is everyone being fair?
I mean,
Is everyone being checked the same way?
yeah. I mean, you can clearly look at that and go, are they? You can always have your doubts about it. I mean, yeah. Football is the biggest sport.
Yeah.
With money wise, it is absolutely massive. And when you look at these, when you look at the ice hockey players, I think they work harder, and it's a harder sport than football. You know, because you've got to be able to obviously ice skate.
I mean, that's the fundamental of the sport, though, Alex. Well done. What great knowledge.
Yeah. Good knowledge. Obviously, you've got to ice skate, and you've got to obviously, and it's a really physical sport. And you know, but I think
I mean, to be fair, you've only known about ice hockey for what, about the past year? Is it?
Well,
Since I first took you. So you're coming from that football aspect of being a massive football fan. Your whole family's football fans. You know, Villa through and through, all the way through your life. To go into ice hockey. I mean, how different is that for you?
It's very. It's very different. Very different crowd-wise as well. Obviously, like we were saying, you know, if you at a football match, you've got the away end, and then you've got the home end, and they never mingle the fans at all in football. Whereas with ice hockey, I mean, you've got the home end and you've got the away end, but you always see them mingle about at the end. I mean, you would never see that in football. It's really different to see the vibe of between ice hockey and football.
Yeah, I mean, you still do get your rivalries.
Oh yeah,
I mean, that's clear.
Manchester Storm versus Huddersfield versus Sheffield Steelers is a massive one, and Nottingham Panthers versus Steelers as well.
Yeah.
I mean, just take the first game I went to for an example. But
It gets quite heated. But again, everybody's still fair enough. Yeah, we'll have a go at each other and rant at each other, but I don't think I could ever say I've never seen a massive brawl. I think Beth
no.
has, but her parents have been hockey fans ever through since Steelers began.
Hmm.
Back in the olden days, where it was worse, and you'd have the whole bench of Panthers players and Steelers players fighting on the ice, including the fans.
Yeah.
But yeah, so times change, but everybody just kind of respects each other when it comes to it. I mean, obviously we went down for the Challenge Cup final. I mean, it was pretty much sold out, I think, if I remember
It
rightly.
was, yeah.
And
Yeah.
it was an amazing match. It was an amazing experience. We were lucky enough to be there and see Steelers win. But Cardiff, who were playing, fair enough. They respected it. They were still there. They still sang their hearts out even when they were losing, and it's fair enough.
Yeah. I mean, fantastic set of fans, and you get that. I mean, you get that through and through. The ice hockey fans are fantastic. The passion that goes into the sport is absolutely phenomenal. I mean, yeah, you get some of the fans that moan and whatever, but they're still passionate about it.
You get that in every sport.
Yeah, you get that in every sport.
Yeah.
But I mean, the Challenge Cup game was probably the best so far. But yeah, it was a good experience to see.
Yeah. But like I said, here on this channel, if you guys ever want to talk about any sports, again, we are both quite open when it comes to sports. I would normally now go on to the F1 and talk about what's happening with the F1. Most I can talk about that is transfers with drivers, which is going off. I mean, well, we'll start with the regulations changes, which was meant to be happening next year, which is being pushed back another year now till 2021. There's a lot of major development changes happening, which is meant to be happening next year, but because of COVID, it's being pushed back. So we'll see a lot of changes. I mean, drivers-wise, you've got a lot of young drivers coming through now, replacing older drivers.
Yeah.
You've got Ricardo. He's moving over to McLaren.
Right. Okay.
Which is quite a good move. I think he'll do good there. You've got Lance Stroll, who's now moving to Ferrari. A lot of people questioning that move, but I think it's a good move for Ferrari. I think the drivers they've got there at the moment, I think the only problem now really is the car. And I think a lot of people agree with me that looking from forums and polls, I think, again, Ferrari saying the drivers have got, not a problem. It's the car that just seems to be lacking at the moment, which is very surprising from Ferrari. You've got Mercedes, Hamilton's out of contract next year. You've got Bottas who's running out of contract. Is there going to be driver changes? Nobody knows. Everyone's speculating. Mercedes is saying no. Again, nobody knows because these races that are coming on at the end of the year, I think it's starting in Austria, 2 races in Austria back to back. It's just kind of like they're trying to put out a calendar to get something out there for this year. To have some kind of championship. There's not going to be many changes. I think there's not going to be many changes in the results from last year. There's going to be slight changes, but I just don't think, the engineers, the manufacturers, they haven't had enough time to physically work on the cars because of COVID. Everything's just stopped. So I do feel like it's going to be a similar season to last season. Obviously, if Hamilton does win this season, I think he will have won the most driver championships as a British driver. I'm not 100% sure. I'm like 99% sure on that. So I know he is wanting this World Championship this year. Whether he'll get it, I don't know. But I think Mercedes will have the car to give him it. we'll see. But again, yeah, like I was saying, Bottas, he's running that contract. He's getting old. Will he leave? Nobody knows. There's a spare seat at Renault. Rumours are Alonso might be coming back, taking that place. Alonso at Renault. We all know how that ended last time.
Yeah.
So will it happen again? Who knows? I highly doubt it. Alonso's a great driver, a lot of experience, but again, Renault just I don't think have the money. Which
No.
is,
It's a shame.
I mean, it's great what they're doing in 2021. How they're having a budget gap, so they're bringing all the teams closer together budget-wise.
Yeah.
So the weaker teams will have more money, the stronger
Mhm.
teams will have less money. They're also changing how much time teams can use in the wind tunnels.
Mhm.
So depending on where you are in the championship, depends how much time you can have in the wind tunnels between each race. Well, between each gap in each race. So the lower down teams have more time to develop the car throughout the season, whereas the teams at the top of the table won't have as much time in the speed tunnels to be able to develop the car through the year. So they are trying to close that gap. But when you're looking at teams like Williams, who are looking at selling the team now, and I mean, Williams have been around in F1 for years. I mean, years and years. And it's a shame to see him go.
Mm.
I hope they still carry on with the Williams name. I know Rocket, the main sponsor, they've got rid of them now because of certain things. I don't know exactly, but I know they've got rid of that for this season. I don't know if they've. I don't think they've got another sponsor in yet, main sponsor. But they've got about £60 million a season, which seems a lot of money. But when you compare it to like Mercedes, Ferrari, who've got 200 odd million pound a season working on a car,
Mm.
it's a big gap. And it's no wonder why you see the same teams at the top, the same teams at the bottom, because all F1 is money right now, and I like that they're trying to change it,
Mm.
but it's gonna take time, and I hope it changes. I hope to see teams like Renault or Haas or Williams up on the podium. I know it happens on very rare occasions, but it's a solid championship contender. It'd be great to see, especially for like McLaren, who have got Lando Norris, who is a great young driver, but again, he's just getting him up there.
Mm.
It's the
So,
same. Go on.
so do you think there's um, biased views on the financial um,
Oh, I mean,
aspects in Formula?
don't get me wrong. There will always be people out there that go, the reason why the main teams at the top is because of the manufacturer, because of the brand. You look at the teams at the top, it's Ferrari, it's Mercedes, it's Red Bull. The teams have always been at the top. The teams that should be at the top, according to some people. But I just think, in my opinion, there's not much competition there now. You have it's essentially, in my eyes, Formula One has three different tiers. You've got the manufacturer tiers, which are at the top of the table. You've got the independent tiers, which have a decent amount of sponsorship in the middle. And then you've got the independent teams at the bottom of the table that don't have a decent amount of sponsorship.
Mm.
And that's how it's just been for the past few years.
Mm.
And I think a lot of people can agree with what I'm saying. There will always be the few that go, "Oh, I want to see Mercedes at the top. I want to see Hamilton at the top all the time." Fair enough. Hamilton is a good driver, but you've got these young drivers coming through. I mean, Williams, I can't remember his name now, a young British driver coming up, and is he has got a deal with Mercedes because Mercedes and Williams are like sister teams. So the young drivers go to Williams to get a seat, and then the point is they'll then move up to Mercedes when they're ready. I mean, it's the same like Red Bull do with Toro Rosso. So they'll have the younger drivers in the Toro Rosso, and the main drivers in the Red Bull, and eventually it's just like a cycle.
Mm.
I think Vettel, he started in Toro Rosso, moved up to Red Bull, and look where he ended up with Red Bull. So, but again, you don't see those young drivers being able to compete because there's just no money there.
No. No.
So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I really do hope F1 sort themselves out. And I hope that these changes in 2021 help everything out. But yeah, so that's F1. As much as we can talk about, anyways. Once the races start, we'll have a bit more of a topic to be able to talk about. We've also got other racing stuff that I won't be able to talk about because I don't even think they're thinking about starting back this year. We've got the touring car, we've got Formula E. I don't know what's happening with them at the moment. I don't think there's any restart date for Formula E. And you've also got the lot smaller sports, which we will try and talk about. But again, because of COVID, nothing's just happening. I mean, I'm quite close with the Steel Kings, which is a sledge hockey team. Um, I would love to give you some information about that, but right now, as far as I'm aware, they're not even training that much because they can't get the ice time because of COVID. Because obviously, a lot of people that do the sport do have physical disabilities, either wheelchair bound or they have limbs missing. So they have to have people around them to help them. So it's not one of those sports where you can socially distance.
Not really.
So,
And I think it will be great to see the sledge hockey teams back out there, and I think it's brilliant. It's a brilliant. They're a brilliant team. It's a brilliant idea for people who have a passion for ice hockey, but think that they can't do it because of their disability when they actually can. And I think obviously you're very close to it, Dean. Obviously, I don't know that much about it, but I think it's an absolutely brilliant, not cause, but like brilliant idea for a team to do that.
Yeah, but like I said, I would love to be able to talk to you guys about more sports that are going off at the moment.
Yeah, we both would. I mean,
yeah,
as obviously this is a weekly thing, and we will have more to talk about. Obviously, as the weeks go on, Mr. Johnson releasing more things about the lockdown, and sport will come along with it. So, I mean, if you ever want any questions answered, about sport, just drop them in the comments or send an email to us. Our email is in our profile bio. So, yeah, if you've got any burning questions that you'd like to ask, then email and we'll answer in the podcast every week.
Yeah, I mean, even if there's any sports we've missed, I mean, I know there's a lot of sports we haven't talked about, but again, we can't really talk about them right now. We've got tennis, we've got basketball. Even if you want us to cover American sports, American football, NASCAR, anything like that, just please let us know because we're quite open when it comes to sports. We know we can sit down and watch anything between us, but we only have an hour's gap to talk about it. Obviously, a large portion of that hour is going to be spent on football because it's the main sport that's happening right now. It's the main sport that you guys, we can talk about for you guys that sounds interesting, which just sound we're rambling on about numbers and figures. But like I said, obviously next week we'll have the championship starting as well. We'll have a lot more matches to keep a track on, so we'll have plenty to talk about. I think we might have had the first F1 race by then as well. I'm not sure. Let me just have a look. Where are we? Yeah, I know the next race is in Austria. Cheers for that schedule. Right, so it's the 3rd to the 5th of July.
So
No, it'll be a few weeks. It'll be a couple of weeks before we bring that to you guys. But yeah, if there is any updates in any other sports that we know about, we are interested in, obviously we'll bring that to you guys. And all these sports that we're talking about, please go check out. Obviously, just follow the names that we talk about and go check them out. I mean, if you don't want to, again, that's up to you. But there's a lot of sports out there that need a lot more recognition, whether it comes to ice hockey, F1, sports, football, anything. You guys, if we're going to be able to go watch it, you guys should definitely go check it out too, because trust me, they're all worth a watch.
It's when you think of sport, you think, oh, that's boring. I wouldn't want to go and watch that sport. But you go there, and you are transfixed. I mean, they're always an amazing atmosphere. It's like, I mean, I don't like cricket. I'm not into cricket, but I've been to a cricket match and absolutely loved it.
Didn't I hear something about cricket's actually starting back?
Huh?
Isn't cricket starting back at some point?
They're trying to figure out ways to do it regarding the social distancing and whatever. I mean, they do social distance, to be fair, don't they? On the field. But I think it's more to do with the fact of financial reasons. Obviously, I mean, that's finance is the biggest thing in sports. And it's obviously been affected by the COVID lockdown situation. So we'll have to wait and see, but hopefully we'll have more news on it next week.
Yeah. Well, hopefully in a year's time we'll have all these sports back.
What do you hope so?
We'll be able to bring all of it back to you.
I've been so down and depressed without football. It's ridiculous. I remember Dee messaging me when ice hockey was cancelled, and we were just like, "What are we gonna do?"
I know.
It was just so depressing. But
I know it is literally, for a lot of people, sports is a big chunk of their life. No matter what sport it is, it is a big chunk of their life. It is a big chunk of every person's life, no matter what sport you watch. And the sooner we're back to some sort of normal, people can enjoy that and enjoy that atmosphere, the better, in my eyes.
I mean, I don't think we'll be able to go and watch a football game or an ice hockey game or any sport until late next year.
I mean, yeah, there's been talks, haven't there, of these, the really big stadiums, next season, when the next season starts, having a reduced amount of people there and trying to social distance people there, which I don't know whether it just looks stupid or whether it'd work. I don't know. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. But other than that, guys, that's all we can really talk about tonight, I'm afraid. Again, we'll be back next Friday at the actual time. I apologise about the delay for tonight's video, but we got there. And yeah, we'll be back next Friday with a lot more Championship football and a lot more Premier League football. When there's about 3 matches every day happening.
There is, yeah.
So there'll be a lot of matches to cover. We might miss 1 or 2, depending, and stick to the matches we know about. We'll see. But yeah, so we hope you've enjoyed the first, and I mean the first ever sports chat with me and Alex. Again, in the next few weeks, you might see a surprise person now and again. We don't know. We've got a few things in the pipelines. You'll have to come back and check it out. We'll see.
The suspense is killing me.
But obviously, if you enjoy listening to me and Alex, again, feel free to tune in on Sunday. We have our weekly podcast, so feel free to come and join us for then. It will be, if you don't like sports, it'll be a lot less boring than this. If you do like sports, it'll be a lot more boring than this. So feel free to make your decision on that.
Yeah, Dean, rounded it all up brilliantly. Last thing, I mean, keep on saying the support has been great from you guys so far. We really appreciate everything you've done, watching us. Make sure that obviously there's a nice little button on our profile to tip us. The money goes straight into PayPal. So
it doesn't go to us, by the way. Ryan has control of this PayPal. If Ryan ever says he doesn't have control of this PayPal, don't believe him, because he has control of this PayPal and he holds us hostage to this PayPal. So, Ryan, I know you're listening.
It doesn't go to us; it goes into our PayPal. So make sure you tip us. And if you have any questions at all, it doesn't have to be about sport. For the Sunday podcast, make sure you email us, and we will respond to all your questions in the Sunday podcast. And I mean, if it is about sport, it will be every Friday.
Yes, I mean, if you guys really, really, really want to talk about something really desperately between a Friday and a Sunday, just message Ryan. Well, message the social medias. Ryan will pass it on to us. And if it's really, really important, we'll talk about it on Sunday. But I can guarantee as soon as we talk about sport on a Sunday, Ryan will have a hissy fit, or Paul will have a hissy fit. So we will get told off. Bear that in mind. So your best thing to do is write it down. And if you can wait till Friday, come let us know. And we can talk about it on Friday. Because Ryan's a dictator in this. But shh, don't tell him.
Okay, guys, thank you very much for watching and listening. Just moving swiftly on from that. Thank you very much for watching and listening. Much appreciated. And we will see you next week at the normal time from 9:30 till 10:30. Make sure you tune in. We're going to have loads more news about sport. Sorry if it's been a bit vague, but obviously, like Dino said, we don't know that much about what's going on. But as the weeks go on, we'll have more and more to talk about.
Yeah,
so
I mean, the thing is as well, we don't know what you guys want to talk about either. We could happily ramble on about football for an hour. But again, we need your guys' advice. We're new to this. Just let us know.
Yeah, brilliant. So, thank you very much for watching, and we will end the stream there. See you next week, guys, and see you on Sunday.